How's it going, guys? Dean's here and welcome to a Pink Cavani player review. Now, I've got to say with this guy, he's a bit iffy to be honest. When I was trying him out in game, I really couldn't get used to using his card. Like, for the first, I think, 4 games, I really couldn't get him to work at his full potential. But when it came to his last couple games, that's when I really started scoring all the goals. You see there, in 6 games, I scored 14 goals and got 1 assist. And in all honesty, in like the last even 2-3 games, that's where I scored most of his goals. That's where I've really gotten to shine. So this player, I've got to say, you kind of got to get used to him, got to get him warmed up a little bit just before you get to sort of really try out how good he is. Because in all honesty, at first I thought, nah, this guy is absolutely terrible. I really don't recommend using him. But then, as I say, it came down to the last few games, and he was absolutely awesome. So was a bit split when I decided whether or not I really liked him. As I say, he's one of those players you just have to get used to him. I will definitely say as well, he isn't a lone striker player. You definitely want to make sure that he's got someone else with him. I stuck him with Lacazette, and at first I did sort of try him out in a 4-3-3 formation, but he just wasn't cutting it in that formation. So I definitely recommend you guys make sure he's got a side striker just in case he doesn't quite play up to what you need him to. But again, as I mentioned earlier, all you have to do is sort of warm him up a little bit, and then you will sort of work out the kinks of how to use him. And I've got to say, his dribbling was absolutely awesome. I've got to say, his pace is not great, but it's a definite improvement from all his other cards. Like, that's always been a big thing with me in Cavani. He always seems quite slow and sluggish, whereas this card definitely a lot faster in my opinion. And his shooting is definitely picked up as well. Like, Cavani has never been a great player for me. He's always one of those overrated, too high overall players that just isn't worth it at all. But this pink card is actually definitely picked up. I really do recommend, if you've got the coins or if you manage to pack him, definitely give him a go, stick him in your squad, see what you think. His curve shot was another thing as well, I should point out. When it came to curve shots with me, he always seemed to be able to score them 100% accurate, which is pretty good in my opinion. You saw I scored a lovely little finesse earlier. But yeah, the only things I could really pick out that I didn't like about him was his positioning was off a little bit. He has medium work rate, so that doesn't really work well for me, and often I'd be finding him in places I kind of didn't want him to be. Heading as well, though, is actually pretty decent with him. Obviously, I think if many people have tried before, you know Cavani's quite well. However, it doesn't work well because when you go for crossing, his positioning isn't great. But if you take a look at his in-game stats there, you see a lot of high 90s. Like, for example, you got 99 stamina there, which is absolutely insane. You got 99 finishing there, which is, again, absolutely incredible, as well as 93 ball control, 83 curve, 90 dribbling, 85 free kick accuracy, 96 heading accuracy, as well as 96 shot power and 92 volley. So very, very high stats there. And that's why I was really tricky on sort of coming to a last decision, because I really didn't know whether or not I really like this guy. But at the same time, the last couple games he was absolutely outstanding, and yeah, it was a bit of a hard decision for me. As I said earlier, his positioning was a bit off, as well as that his passing is not great. You look at his card there, the lowest sort of main stat for attacker-wise is passing. He just isn't that great. The main thing I recommend you do with this guy is you just get your players to pass it to him and let him finish the ball, because quite often he will finish it with that 96 shooting, but at times I've got to say he was a bit inconsistent for me. But again, as I mentioned, it was more from the beginning of a few games where I was just trying to get him warmed up. But in my opinion, I'm going to rate this guy about 8 out of 10. I would give it the 9 or the actual 10. But again, as I say, those first couple games let him down a lot. And for me, I didn't know if he was 100% reliable. But if you did enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like. I really appreciate it. If you're brand new around, be sure to subscribe. Apart from that, sorry, that is about it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video, and goodbye.